G'day from the West, Lucas here, and welcome back to another Footy West video. So today we're going to be looking at a bit of an intra-club match review from the West Coast Eagles. The intra-club match happened over last weekend, and it was very promising. A lot of things, very promising signs for the club and for a lot of the players. So we'll jump straight in. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit post notification bell, so you never miss a thing. And we'll get straight into it. And there were so many players who impressed in this intra-club match for mine. I've written down a couple that really came to mind, and top of the list was Jack Graham. I don't actually think he's been spoken about enough. I think he has brought such a ferocious attitude to the side. His tackling pressure is through the roof, something we've been missing. Like I've said throughout previous videos, all through this channel, he's bringing that tackling pressure that we have lacked. And it's rubbing off on everybody else, and that is important. I think he's also bringing a very good energy to the side. And I think he's really encouraging guys to get around each other when there's good defensive efforts, when there's a good spoil, when there's a good goal assist, you know, these little things that create a really good culture at a footy club. And I think Jack Graham is leading the way at the moment for the Eagles. So that really impressed me, and obviously his match skills are second to none. They're brilliant. So he's a very, very good recruit, and I think he'll be a very, very underrated recruit for the Eagles. And then you've got another midfielder that really caught my eye, and it was Tim Kelly. And there'd been a lot of speculation coming up to sort of this season about Tim Kelly and how he was going to go. Has he lost his love for the game? Is he as good as he used to be? Will he ever get back to being that good? And I think he was quite impressive in this game. I think we saw him actually running for defensive efforts, running both ways. And the other thing that came to mind for me was he was creating sort of the chains of the fast play that we've seen, especially from the back half for the Gold team. And again, that's very important because that's a big part of Andrew McQualter's game, and he'll want these fast, quick ball movement chains to be stemming down the field. And if Tim Kelly can get involved in that and is doing that well, then that goes a long way for him to keeping his spot and performing very well in the side. And I think he's just generally improved. I think he's had quite a good off-season, despite the fact that he said he's lost his love a bit of the game. I think he's actually improved, to be honest. And then, obviously, Jake Waterman, how good is he? He's back from sort of a break that he had. I think he had a few little things going on, so West Coast was just managing his minutes a bit. And he did have managed minutes. He was on managed time during the match, the intra-club match. But he looked very good. He kicked about 3 or 4 goals, and he's sort of picked up where he left off. He's still got those sticky hands. He's a brilliant contested mark, and as a tall forward, that is something that you need to be really good at to keep your spot, and he is one of the best in the league for contested marks, in my opinion. And he's also leading really hard. I was at the game, I noticed he's a very good leader. And when I say leader, I do mean a leader within the side, but also creating leads up forward when the ball is coming in, and creating forward 50 entries and being a target for the forward 50 entries. And I notice this every time I go to a match live, when you can see everything that's going on the field. I notice that Jake Waterman is always putting up very, very good leads for the midfielders to kick to inside 50. And if you're a good leader inside 50 and you're a good contested mark, that makes a very, very good key forward. So Jake Waterman, again, looking very, very impressive. And you've got a couple of smalls as well, small forwards that really caught my eye. Liam Bryan, he looks as good as ever. I've said this a couple times as well throughout the channel so far. I think Liam Bryan is going to be very, very good this year. He looks back to his best, and if he can keep it up, it will go a long way into helping West Coast surge back up. He looks very zippy again. He's going for the big marks again. He's got his trademarks back. So he's a valuable asset when he's at his best, and I think he's getting back to his very best. And then his sort of counterpart, Tyrell Dua, how good is the kid? He is just so energetic, he's so zippy, he's got a bit of pizzazz about him. It's just everything that you like in an AFL footballer. I think he's probably the most hyped guy on this channel. I talk him up nearly every video. He is going to be a star. And he's just got good presence on the field at all times, really. There's guys constantly talking to him, wanting to get the ball off him, give him the ball. So he's got the team around him, and he's working himself well into this side. He's probably on the fringes a bit still, but give it 5 rounds and he can be well developed and well cemented into this side. And I think he's got a very good appetite for the footy as well. So those were some guys that really impressed during the intra-club match, and I think there were a lot more that I haven't touched on that had really good games. I think Sandy Brock again looked very good. I think Brady Hoff was underrated. Elijah Hewitt was very good for the Bees side, getting a lot of midfield minutes. Harley Reid, he had some moments of brilliance as always. So it's very promising that a lot of these guys are the young guys that are coming through and are going to be the future of this side. And Ruben Jinby is going to be an absolute star down back for us. He just looks completely at home. He took an absolute hanger towards the end of that match, stealing Liam Ryan's mark. That was very, very exciting to see. And he looks like he's taken to the new game style as well. After he took that mark, he just played on straight away, which probably wasn't the best decision in that moment, but it shows that these guys are willing to take the game on now and adapt to this new game style of just get it and go. That's the best way I can put it. To me, it looks like it's a get it and go game style, which is exactly what you need with the modern AFL footy game. And then all of a sudden, you start looking at the backline where I think we've lacked for depth and lacked for experience and just lacked really badly. But you look now and you've got like Ruben Jinby coming through. Ryan Marrick looks at home at the backline, another very impressive guy in the intra-club match. Brady Hoff, Sandy Brock coming through. Harry Edwards is hopefully going to develop into a very good key back. And then obviously Jeremy McGovern as well. So all of a sudden, you've got a very good looking backline that will continue to get better throughout the years. And the game sort of started out as a best versus the rest side, and then the teams were sort of evened out. The last quarter, Andrew McQualter and a bunch of the coaching staff came down to the bench to sort of try and implement game styles. And it was really exciting to see these new things that Andrew McQualter has brought in and the way they were going to work in this intra-club match, and hopefully what we're going to see throughout the season. And I think this intra-club match, the best thing about it was the fact that there were pretty much no injuries, which is a score for us. But the other thing that I think was very good is that it gave the guys another opportunity to practice this new game style. And because it's so new and because it's not something or very different from what we were doing before, I think it's important to get as many opportunities as you can to be able to practice this game style, especially against like in an intra-club match where you're not even giving anything away to opposition sides. You can just practice against yourselves in a semi-professional setting. I mean, guys were going in hard. Obviously it was an intra-club match, so you're not going to expect mammoth efforts, but they were going in pretty hard considering it was an intra-club. And it was a great opportunity for these guys to enhance their skills, because at the end of the day, intra-clubs are ways to just get match experience in somewhat match experience, and a way to further your skills and adapt to the game style. And so I'm not really sure how much more you can actually review and take out of it. It was a good kick out for everybody. There were plenty of stars, and we saw plenty of guys sort of flourish and see what they're capable of. Let me know in the comments who impressed you the most, because I'm interested to hear who impressed different kinds of people. There were some brilliant efforts, some brilliant goals. Tyler Brockman looked very good again. I suppose the first real deep analysis that we can look at is sort of the North Melbourne preseason game, and I'll have a preview coming out soon, and then hopefully we'll review that one as well afterwards, and then it's footy time. But there's not too much more you can take out of an intra-club match. I think a lot of guys performed really well, and that's really important. There were a couple of guys who I think were maybe a bit vulnerable in their positions. I think Jaden Hunt could have probably performed better. Maybe it was because it was an intra-club and he was just saving his tank. Tom Cole is very vulnerable. Okay, I'm going to be harsh. I don't think he should be playing this year. I think there's, like I said, with our defensive stocks, I think there's so many people that have gone past him, and I think it's sort of time for him to make way for those guys. So he'll be an interesting watch going into this year, but I don't think there's too much more you can take out of the intra-club match. So that'll be all for today, to be honest. If you enjoyed this little intra-club review, make sure you give us a like, give us a subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. But I hope you enjoyed the content. Let me know who impressed you. And yeah, I hope to see you again back soon on Footy West.